Hey there, kids! Have you ever wondered what it would be like to find something magical? Maybe a treasure or a crown? Well, get ready because today, we're diving into the incredible story of Benny the Squirrel and how he became the tiny king of a very secret, very special place, Acorn Village. So sit back, get comfy, and let your imagination soar as we discover how Benny learned to be a kind and wise king with the help of his amazing woodland friends. In the heart of a beautiful forest, where tall trees whisper secrets and sunlight dances through the leaves, there lived a curious little squirrel named Benny. Benny was no ordinary squirrel. He had the fluffiest tail in the forest and the sharpest nose for adventure. Every day, Benny would leap from tree to tree, searching for shiny objects and delicious acorns. His favorite game was to see how many treasures he could collect in one day. But one crisp morning, as the forest was waking up, something extraordinary happened. Benny stumbled upon a golden sparkle hidden beneath a pile of leaves. Benny's sharp eyes widened as he brushed away the leaves. There, glittering in the sunlight, was a tiny golden crown. It wasn't like anything Benny had ever seen before. The crown was perfectly shaped, with tiny jewels that twinkled like stars. What is this doing here? Benny wondered to himself. Curiosity bubbling inside him, Benny picked up the crown with his little paws and carefully placed it on his head. Suddenly, something magical happened. The forest seemed to come alive around him. Leaves rustled in excitement, and tiny golden sparkles floated through the air. Benny didn't know it yet, but he had just unlocked the entrance to a secret, hidden world. With a soft whoosh, the ground beneath Benny shimmered and opened into a small tunnel. Before Benny could think, he was sliding down the tunnel, twisting and turning like he was on the world's fastest roller coaster. When he finally landed with a soft plop, Benny couldn't believe his eyes. He was in the middle of a magical village made entirely of acorns. There were acorn houses with tiny windows, acorn lanterns lighting the streets, and even an acorn fountain sparkling with water. Everywhere he looked, little creatures, mice, chipmunks, beetles, and more, were bustling about, working, laughing, and living their tiny lives. But the moment they saw Benny wearing the golden crown, everything stopped. The king! The king has arrived, a tiny chipmunk squeaked excitedly. Before Benny could say anything, a group of animals surrounded him. They cheered, waved tiny acorn flags, and even tossed flower petals into the air. One wise old mouse with round glasses waddled forward. "Your Majesty," he said with a bow, "the crown you wear means you are the chosen king of Acorn Village. It has been waiting for someone special like you to find it." Benny's little heart raced. Him? A king? He wasn't sure what to say. He was just a squirrel who loved shiny things and adventures. But the animals didn't wait. They quickly brought Benny to the acorn throne, a tiny chair carved from the biggest, shiniest acorn Benny had ever seen. "Long live King Benny," they all cheered. At first, being king seemed like a lot of fun. Benny got to wear the golden crown and sit on the throne. He even had a feast with all the acorns and berries he could eat. But soon, Benny realized that being a king wasn't just about wearing a crown and having yummy snacks. The animals of Acorn Village came to him with all kinds of problems. "Your Majesty, the river is drying up. What should we do?" "King Benny, the beetles are arguing about who gets the shiniest leaf." "Oh, great king, the wind knocked over the lanterns last night. Can you help us fix them?" Benny scratched his head. He didn't know how to solve these problems. He had never been a king before. That's when Benny remembered something important. He wasn't alone. He had friends in the forest who were really smart and good at solving problems. First, Benny called his best friend, Wendy the Wise Owl. Wendy was always full of great ideas. She flew into Acorn Village and said, "Benny, a good leader always listens to their friends and works as a team." Next, Benny called Max the beaver, who was amazing at building things. Max looked at the drying river and said, "No problem, Your Majesty. We'll build a dam to keep the water flowing." Finally, Benny called Lucy the chipmunk, who was great at settling arguments. She helped the beetles decide to share the shiny leaf by taking turns. With his friend's help, Benny started to feel more confident. Just when Benny thought he was getting the hang of being king, a huge storm rolled into the forest. The wind howled, the rain poured, and the animals of Acorn Village huddled together in fear. Benny's crown slipped a little as he rushed to help. He didn't feel like a king in that moment, he felt scared, too. But he remembered Wendy's words, "A good leader works as a team." He quickly gathered all the animals and his friends. "We'll work together to keep everyone safe," he said. Max the beaver helped build a strong shelter out of branches and acorns. Lucy the chipmunk comforted the frightened animals. Wendy the owl flew high into the stormy sky to guide lost animals back to safety. Benny did his part, too. He climbed high into the trees to check for fallen branches and made sure everyone had food and water. When the storm finally passed, the sun peeked out from behind the clouds, and Acorn Village was safe. The animals cheered for Benny, not just because he wore the crown, but because he had shown kindness, bravery, and teamwork. Benny smiled. He realized that being a king wasn't about being the smartest or strongest. It was about caring for others, listening to their needs, and working together to solve problems. From that day on, Benny ruled Acorn Village with a kind and wise heart. His friends were always there to help, and the animals of Acorn Village trusted their tiny king completely. And even though Benny still loved shiny treasures and fun adventures, he knew that being a good leader was the greatest treasure of all. So the next time you find something magical, like a golden crown or even a shiny pebble, remember Benny's story. You don't have to be the biggest or the smartest to be a great leader. You just have to care and try your best.